Hey there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Death by PowerPoint, the only improvised game on LinkedIn. Unless you consider the entirety of LinkedIn an improvised game, which I do. So I'm your host, Chris Bogue. I coach people to make mercifully short video content. I am a coach, but I'm also an improviser and a sketch comedian. I've been doing improv and sketch comedy all my life. And if you'd like me to come in and do a workshop with your company, shoot me a DM after this. I do workshops on sales, on video prospecting, and on improv. So what you are going to see today is a bit of an experiment. I've never seen this game played anywhere on LinkedIn, but today you are going to be seeing three talented performers all giving a PowerPoint presentation. The catch, they do not know what is in the presentation, but I do. And spoiler alert, it's nothing but nonsense. This is a game we're playing. This is how we're going to go out there. And I've learned that no matter what life throws at you, no matter what kind of presentations you're up against, if you just go out there and act calmly, tell a good story, and connect with your audience, you can't go wrong. So we are going to get this party rolling in just a moment. If you're watching this live on YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever you are watching this, these are your topics today. We have employee compensation, office etiquette, and nonverbal communication. So if you are watching this live, go ahead and drop a comment and let us know which is the first topic that you want us to do. Do you want us to start with employee compensation, office etiquette, or nonverbal communication? So take a moment, go ahead, drop your opinion in the comments. And before we get this kicked off, I want to say thank you to today's sponsors. So if you take a look down there, our show is brought to you today by two wonderful sponsors, TLDV and Pitchfire. So TLDV is the AI meetings assistant. So keeping track of what you say on sales calls, keeping track of if your team is following your sales processes, that's a full-time job in and of itself. And if you're not utilizing AI to help you with all that data, you will never get it done. That's why you need TLDV. So TLDV works with all the programs that your team uses, whether that's Teams or Zoom or Google Meets, whatever it is. TLDV tracks all your conversations and provides AI summaries instantly. So you can get started with TLDV at tldv.io. And today's show is also brought to you by Pitchfire. So pitchfire.com is the website that pays you to respond to salespeople. We all know how many pitches we get, right? Especially if you're a founder, especially if you're at the corporate executive level. Instead of just ignoring them, why not get paid for them? Right? Pitchfire.com is the only website that pays you to respond to salespeople. It's win-win for everybody. Check them out at pitchfire.com. And without further ado, looks like we're going to be starting today with non-verbal communications, which means I'd like you all to welcome my first guest today, Joshua Bailey. Joshua, welcome to Death by PowerPoint.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
How are you feeling today?
Well, I'm actually feeling really great because I just swallowed my nervous vomit, so I'm feeling a lot better.
Thanks. Well, probably shouldn't let this comedy secret out of the bag, but if you vomit on camera, it's so funny.
No, I'll save it.
Okay, yeah. Keep that ace up your sleeve. And are you ready to do a presentation about nonverbal communication?
I am so ready.
All right, well, here we go. This is Death by PowerPoint. Josh Bailey will give you a count of three, and then we will get this started. Here we go.
So, my name is Joshua Bailey, and I cannot see the PowerPoint screen. That said, I am going to give a presentation on nonverbal communication. So when that pops up, we're having some technical difficulties here. We'll jump right into it. In the meantime, make sure that you are non-verbally communicating with the guests.
Hey there.
In the audience, Chris.
Just sorry, everybody, figuring out this. Just 1 second here. So so Josh, you're not seeing anything on your screen.
Not seeing anything on my screen at the moment. everyone, this is exactly how you get investors to invest. You start off by having technical difficulties, and that will allow you to spark interest, and that creates for a more surprising presentation.
Sorry, one moment, everybody.
I think this kind of fits the start of the presentation, though, because we're definitely not verbally communicating. So we'll do this whole presentation with my mind.
Wait, hang on. So, Josh, you can't see something on the screen that says Ecamm Live Program? You don't have that option anywhere?
I do not. I have screen share, mute, and hang up.
So you can't, can you see me right now? Can you see where it says Death by
can.
PowerPoint and topics and things like that?
No, I just see your full screen for your camera. I don't see anything else.
Okay, let me try one more thing. Sorry, everybody, one moment, please. Can you see anything now?
I cannot, no. Well, in the meantime, everyone, happy Friday. Hopefully you're all, I don't know, not doing too much work, or doing more work because you missed your other couple work days. So you were out. Oh, nothing here.
Can you see it now?
I cannot. Nope.
What about now?
I cannot see it. There's a swap camera and program feed button. I'm not sure what that means. I just changed cameras.
Do you have any options to start the presentation?
No, it just says settings. Nope. Mute, share screen, hang up, and it says you are on the air. If you want, though, what I can do is potentially.
Wait, try it now.
Oh, good to go. I can see it. So, everyone, welcome back. This is Joshua Bailey. We're going to talk about nonverbal communication. This is something I'm very, very bad at, but I am an expert in when it comes to coaching. So, emojis, 2025 preview. We all know emojis are taking over the space. You no longer have to say what you want to say over a communication channel because you can just pop in an emoji and tell that person exactly how you're feeling. But we're going to jump into that a little bit more in a second here. So emoji therapy has been a type of therapy that has gone back since the late 1800s. Where it started was when emoji Cephalopoulos, I forget his full last name here, he invented a process of emoji therapy by writing pictures and drawing pictures of specific emotions on a piece of paper and showing them to his coworkers. So it was a new finding, and 37% of people at the late 1800s adopted this method to basically create an internal relationship with their teams as they were mining for gold in Northern California. Now, the emojis were very, very important in this because if they had, a process where they're looking for gold, they had to show up how they're feeling in order to get that type of communication across to their team. Because again, this is nonverbal communication, and you didn't want to speak while you're mining gold here. And early in the 1920s, this is actually really, really important fact here. There was a new emoji alert that came up here in the space. And when we were trying to communicate with our coworkers, we had to figure out ways to get other emotions across because the 4 basic emotions were no longer the top emotions that people would use to communicate how they would feel. So the new emoji alert popped up, and boom, it was a winky face, tongue out emoji that actually got banned in 1949 after World War II here. It was because a lot of people in the workspace would answer their coworkers with a wink and a tongue out, which actually meant that they did not like them at all. And that created a lot of animosity within the workspace. And we wanted to use emojis to create more friendships. So a huge reason to why your kids all send you this specific emoji is because now, going forward in time here into 2020s, this is the most popular emoji in the space. It's called the AI shark face emoji. Now, this is what a shark emoji is going to look like within the workspace. If you type in shark emoji, you'll send that out to your favorite coworkers, and that's why the kids will share with you as well. So we're going to go back a little bit to the 1990s, early 1990s, where some facts from Dr. Smiley actually came up into play here. Dr. Smiley was the first person to implement a full emoji communication strategy within his team, where their whole team communicated with each other with just emojis, again, non-verbally, and it proved to drive revenue about 67%. Until the new feature came out, of course, which was call a hospital using only emojis. Now, this feature was implemented because a lot of people couldn't call hospitals and speak on the phone verbally. So they wanted to make sure that there was a way that people could communicate with hospitals by giving them a call and then pressing emoji buttons on their phone, which would let them know if I'm sick. There's an emoji button for sickness, and it would be sent to the hospital computer system, and it would pop up. And that's pretty much the reason why using emojis in a non-verbal communication format within the team is super important. Don't forget about Dr. Smiley's methods, though. And thank you for joining us today on this a show of non-verbal communication and why emojis are so important in the workforce.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Josh.
Of course.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that the creepy-faced emoji had been banned shortly after World War II,
Yeah, it actually was. It's actually a pretty incredible fact. You should Wikipedia it sometime, though. I think that you'll get a lot more information. Maybe on my next PowerPoint, I can teach everyone a little bit more about that.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Give it up for Josh. Thanks, everybody, also for bearing with us in the beginning of the program, although I'm sure my face, twisted in abject horror, was probably pretty funny, too. So we're going to go keep moving right along here, and let's move on to our second topic with my second guest here, Fiona Simpson. Fiona, welcome to Death by PowerPoint.
Hello, everyone. It is wonderful to be here.
How are you doing today?
Well, I'm really upset because I was going to make a joke about throwing up, but now I can't use that. So I could go lower in the digestive tract, but let's save that for maybe late night.
Hey, if you look very closely at my LinkedIn humor, 45% of the jokes are about throwing up. So,
I mean, who doesn't love a good throw up joke, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a specific disorder for people who hate that, but most people love vomiting is funny. But don't feel I don't want you to feel pressured like you have to vomit during this next PowerPoint presentation.
You have to vomit every time you come on this show. No, I hear you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying. It makes me feel much less nauseous.
Yeah. Well, speaking of nauseous, we're going to be talking about office etiquette. So are you ready, Fiona, to talk about office etiquette?
Well, that's perfect because I invented office etiquette, so this is right up my alley.
Excellent. Well, this is Death by PowerPoint, and here we go with Fiona Simpson.
Alrighty. Well, as I mentioned, I did invent office etiquette, really because I love ping pong so much, and so that's really where the evolution of office etiquette came from. Was my love of ping pong in the office and how important it is. And so, I worked for a company called Blood Rev at the time, and that's really where the whole break room policy, the beginning of office etiquette came from. And I'm really excited to tell you all about why I'm so passionate about office etiquette in ping pong. And really, the story goes back to the concept that we don't need to be doing work when we're at work. Like, that just always seemed really silly to me. What I realized was the most important part of being in an office setting is actually playing ping pong. And the reason I believe that is because ping pong absolutely can change the world. It is the most beautiful illustration of two people that are truly at war with one another. But in reality, there's good news and bad news about that confrontation and that conflict between two people. They're fighting over the most useless thing in the world, a very crushable plastic ball. That's the good news. The bad news is that they get so sucked into this battle royale of ping pong in the office that it can start physical fights, all sorts of other terrible things. But we're going to stick with the good news for right now. The good news that two people are fighting over the stupidest thing in the world really leads me to believe that we could make that ping pong ball something better, something more exciting, colorful, rounder, maybe even put a face to it. And that would make this battle royale, this thing that we spend so much of our time in, so much more valuable. Okay, so back to the bad news. The bad news is I have seen ping pong in the workplace cause physical fights, as I said. I've seen it tear apart marriages. I have seen the worst of the worst in people when it comes to ping pong. And that is why I decided we needed break room rules, really the true evolution, the starting point, the spark, the big bang of office etiquette. That hatred between friends really set it all off. And people love to say ping pong is for short breaks only, but listen, you guys, that is BS. Like I said at the top of my presentation, the reason we go to the office is in order to play more ping pong. Work is for suckers. Ping pong is for winners. Let's just be real. Short breaks, schmort breaks. The real goal, the real reason we all show up every day is to be able to play ping pong. And honestly, we needed a little bit of guidance. And this is the other thing that really frustrates me about the late, great Forrest Gump. As you all can tell, he aged horribly through AI. But if he only ever played ping pong, he wouldn't have gotten shot in the butt. He maybe would have had a kid with that girl who ran through the reflecting pond at the Capitol. But more importantly, he would have also started the idea of rules and regulations within that ping pong space, but he didn't. So I did. Now I want to tell you all a really important story. We had to create an emergency rule. One of those times that a physical altercation started in the office in the break room over a ping pong match, we had to employ a new rule called Sharks versus Jets only, and you have to bring your posse with you. Another time, another place, I'll tell you that whole story, but really I just wanted to share with you the importance of why etiquette matters when you're playing ping pong in the break room. And that's that.
Everybody give it up for Fiona Simpson. Thank you very much, Fiona. If only Forrest Gump had exclusively committed himself to ping pong, then he could have had a kid with Jenny.
I know. Yeah.
Well, you learn something new every day. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Give it up once again for Fiona Simpson. This is Death by PowerPoint. If you're watching this live and you're like, what is going on? That's kind of the whole point. So what you're seeing today are three strangers. They've never interacted before. They're all giving PowerPoint presentations that they've never seen before. And you get to sit at home and laugh. So we have seen two performances so far. Joshua started off by talking to us about nonverbal communication. That was Fiona teaching us a little bit about office etiquette. And now we have our final competitor of the day. Everybody, please give it up for Dan Gershenson. Dan, welcome to Death by PowerPoint.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Thanks for being on.
It's good to be here, I think.
Well, I think so too, but you've got a very thorny issue to talk about here. Are you ready to speak about employee compensation today?
I'm ready. I'm well versed in this topic. Let's do it.
Excellent. So if you're watching at home, everybody watch along with Dan. And also if you're watching this on LinkedIn or YouTube, go ahead and leave us a comment, right? We don't know if you're actually here unless you leave a comment. So jump in, comment some fake commentary on the PowerPoints perhaps. Let the audience know if you learned anything. And most importantly, get ready because after Dan's performance, we're going to be voting on who is the winner, who will be crowned smartest person in the world. Dan, are you ready to play Death by PowerPoint?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's do this. Death by PowerPoint.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We're going to talk today about employee compensation. And by the end of this presentation, you're going to go to your boss and ask them for 50 times more of a salary than what you have right now. So a gift to employees that can really help that kind of thing that you want is to be able to say, hey, I've got a gift to all of you. It's called a bribe, and I'd like you to put a testimonial out there on LinkedIn of why I'm so awesome. But, when you think about it, even when I say compensation, what's better than money really than a lot of likes on LinkedIn? So that is actually what I live for. Likes and comments. I don't need to get any money because the lights stay on with likes more than anything. At least that's what I hear being in the dark here. But you actually, I really want to stress that when I am leading a team and I want to motivate them, there's nothing more than I love to do than to steal a bunch of animals from a local shelter. Don't pay for them or anything like that. Just steal them all. And then grab like at least a dozen puppies, put them in your car, and give them out to all your employees that you have on your team. But really, the fact is that since you've stolen all of those animals, you really don't want to return those anyway. So that's not nothing that you would want. But if you want to foster a lot of teamwork, trade your puppies within each other, and maybe you don't like this one versus that one. Go ahead, trade the puppies, and if somebody comes and comes after you, you didn't get them from me. But the shots that your puppy is going to need, I actually think I'm very pro-vax. So I like to inject puppies with Gatorade, Powerade, things like that. It's very underrated, but it really stimulates them. Ghost Cola, I think, is a good shot to rev them up a little bit. But if anybody gets a puppy, but you're like, wait, what's off about this? Well, maybe it's the chicken feet. That sometimes this is what happens. Sometimes with breeding and stuff like that. Somebody a long time ago took a dog and a chicken and they put them together, and you have the Barkwing breed. They are very good with kids, though. They're very good. So in any case, your dog is like I wouldn't say a best friend, but probably, if they're not going to do tricks or anything like that, they're more like that cousin maybe you want to see once a year or something like that. And, just let them lick you now and then and, take them out for a walk, but always remember to feed them big sandwiches. And no matter what, there are no dogs allowed at work. And again, the thing about employee compensation is that you really do want to make sure that you are bringing cats. Cats at work, dogs at home. That's really a good work-life balance, I think. So that'll keep everybody feeling like hey, you know me, and you'll be having a better retention rate when you can bring cats to the office and dogs at home. So really, this has been a great presentation for everybody who just loves to steal animals, and I hope that you are able to feel well taken care of at your office as a result.
Everybody give it up for Dan Gershenson. Thank you, Dan, for teaching us about employee compensation. You know, if you want extra comments on LinkedIn, just inject your dog with Powerade. You'll get a reaction. You will 100% get a reaction. So thank you very much for joining us, Dan. You have seen the competitors. If you are watching this live now, the job is up to you. So if you are watching this, go ahead and leave a comment here and let us know which of the 3 competitors you saw gave the best presentation. So presentation number 1 was Joshua teaching us about the new emojis coming up in 2025. Then we had Fiona Simpson teaching us about office etiquette, and we closed it off with Dan Gershenson talking about employee compensation. So go ahead, leave a comment, say Joshua, Fiona, or Dan, and while we vote, let's take a minute to say thanks to today's wonderful sponsors. Death by PowerPoint is brought to you by TLDV.
There's all sorts of competitions that salespeople have. Who made the most calls? Who made the most money? Nobody is competing for who spent the most time taking notes in the CRM. That's why you need TLDV. TLDV is the AI note taker that tracks everything you're doing from all the programs that your team uses and integrates with CRMs like Salesforce and HubSpot. Stop relying on your teams to take notes and track their own processes. Start using TLDV. Get your free trial at tldv.io.
Death by PowerPoint is also brought to you by pitchfire.com.
Do you feel overwhelmed because salespeople are constantly pitching you? Well, shut your whiny mouth and sign up for pitchfire.com instead. Pitchfire is the only website that will pay you to respond to salespeople. What are you waiting for? Quit writing your angst-filled LinkedIn post and go sign up for Pitchfire today at pitchfire.com.
All right, we are back. The audience has spoken. The winner of Death by PowerPoint and smartest person in the world. Give it up for Dan Gershenson. Dan, congratulations on winning Death by PowerPoint.
Oh, thanks everybody. That just makes my day.
Yeah. If you want to go ahead and add smartest person in the world to your LinkedIn profile, go right ahead. Unless
I will.
Somebody sues you, in which case you and I never met. So thank you everybody for watching another episode of Death by PowerPoint. We will be live again next week with Ryan Quinlan. Thank you very much, and have yourself a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye.